Hey guys, this is Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and I've got yet another CGC unboxing for you. Now this is if you watched my last video, you know that I got that box and this box on the same day, and I'm filming both of these back to back, so if this one's a couple days later than the other video, just know that I actually just got both these boxes at the same time. Literally walked in at 3 in the morning after I got home from my job, and I cannot wait to get into these boxes. That's why I go ahead and film this, because I don't know if these may degrade. Now this is the pre-screen. That's why I say it like that. This is all a 9.6 pre-screen right here, and I don't think everything made it. This box is a little bit lighter than the last one, and I got 22 out of 25 in that order. So this one's a little bit lighter. I'm expecting somewhere between that 19 and 20, maybe 21 order. We'll see. But yeah. So as I said, if you watch the last video, and it's a couple of days later when you see this video, know that I literally did these things back to back, and because I couldn't wait. So let's just get into it and see what we've got. And just like the last video, I've got my values. I know how much I spent on the books, but more important is what is the value of these at a 9.6. Now, I may be in a little trouble if it's a 9.8 or better. God forbid it's something better. If it's better than a 9.6, I probably won't have the value with me right here. But what I'll do, like I've been doing in a lot of my videos recently, is I've been putting up what the current fair market value is on these books, and I'm doing that because we're watching the market get a little soft right now. The market is down, and so when I sent these books out, the value might have, at a 9.6 on this, might have been, let's say, $100 or $125. Now it's $100 or something like that. I want you to see the difference. So a lot of bubble wrap in this thing. That's not good. We'll have to see. The box I've got here with the raw books is a little big. We'll do a count when we're done with this, but let's just do the look. Lots of bubble wrap. That's great. I need more packaging materials. Let's just get into it and see what we've got here. All right, first book up is X Factor number 15. This is basically, I want to say this is when Angel loses his wings. Walt Simonson cover, Louise Simonson's, I think she ends up writing this. So here, let's get the paperwork out, and I'll tell you what, a 9.6, at least when I sent this order out. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, this order went out, I want to say it's about the same as the last one. I'm not sure, I don't have the receipt on this, but I think it went off in about the second week in February, as well as like the last one did. Today is June 10th, 2022, so you know how long it took. When you watch this video, it's going to be several weeks old at this point. And it's only because I've got a lot of videos in the queue that are going to be coming out before this, and I don't. So, but the reason I put that date is that, like I said, I want you to know how long it took this. A modern order, nothing special, no fast track or anything like that. Sent it out in February, so March, April, May, not quite June. It really was almost at that 4-month mark. So that's actually really good. That's what I've been experiencing lately. All right, let's see. 9.6 on X Factor 15. Yeah, it's about maybe $100 value. And again, we'll see once I look these books up again right now to see if that's holding true. All right. Oh, got a 9.8 on that, and that's nice because I know I had to work on this book a little bit. Again, I clean and press all of my own books. I have 3 presses now. At the time, I had 2 presses, and literally when I'm doing books, I don't do just 1 or 2 and then wait a few days or anything. I've got a quick press system where I put these books, I work on these books, and I get them into the press. And I'm not going to go into times or anything in this video, but basically I'll leave them in that press after I turn off the heat, I'll cold press them, let them cool down for a 2-hour mark. And move on to the next book. And I continue that cycle. And I've seen like I've had really good luck with this. There are times when I'll pull it out and I will still see a defect someplace, and I'm like, okay, let's work on this a little bit more, and I put it back. But in most cases, these 2-hour presses, cold presses, have been really good. But this is Amazing Spider-Man 671. Just an awesome Mary Jane cover. Yeah, $100 about. Well, I take it back. What did I say? I was going to give you a value at a 9.6. This would have been a $100 value. We'll look it up. I'll put it on the screen what a 9.8 goes for. And the reason I tell you why I put this is a very modern book. This is from 2011. The reason I put that in here is because when I got this book, and I think it was a Whatnot pickup, and I didn't get to inspect the book obviously until I got the book in my hand, there was definitely some spine tick issues on the side there, and I kind of suspected that as much as I could get it out, it's still going to be kind of seen. Oh, now this is nice. Yeah, this is Superman, the Man of Steel. This is the first appearance of Doomsday, and let me look it up right here. Got a 9.8 on that. It's one of 2 copies I've got in here. One I picked up at a comic show in the area. I want to say probably back in December. Well, I sent this out in February. So my guess is most of these books, if I bought them recently, were picked up in late fall. If they didn't come from my PC, and some of these did come from the PC, some of them didn't. But I had one from my LCS and one from a comic show. So I have 2 in this order. This is the first of the 2. I don't know which one is which, but it's nice to get this finally on there, because if it's the one I picked up at the LCS, Third Eye Comics, then I know I put a little bit of elbow grease into it to get any of the defects on the side here. It's definitely had some defects on there, but yeah, that's real nice to get that copy. All right, next up. Oh, now this is a little disappointing, although I'm going to make good on the next one a little bit better. This is Sword of Azrael, Batman's. This is where you've got, is it John Paul Valley Jr.? He comes in. This is who ends up taking on the Batman mantle eventually. This is Joe Quesada artwork. I had 2 copies of this, and I thought both of these were really good. But it was an interesting pressing on these because this is a gatefold cover, and if you could see the edge right there, you see the first page in the book. So you know that, if you press this just straight up, you could leave an indent on the interior pages because of that indent right there if you press that into it. So I had to, and the same thing on the end of the gatefold on the inside part of the cover. If you didn't cover it up right, you could definitely leave some lines on the interior pages, much like one of those digital stickers that you find in the Marvel comics. If you don't cover those up with cardstock on both sides, then that will leave an impression on the other pages and you'll get your grade knocked down. Well, this kind of had the same issue, and I literally had to come up with a way of putting a cardstock in between the gatefold so it wouldn't leave any indents. But got a 9.6 on that, and we'll put that down so I can show you the 9.8. That's awesome. And I kind of wish I had taken this to the Baltimore Comic-Con last year when they did the Joe Quesada signing. I had 2 or 3 books I think I got signed, and I don't know what. Maybe I just couldn't put my hands on this in the collection soon enough. But this was definitely just a favorite book. Yeah, as a 9.6, I got it as a $100 value. As a 9.8, we'll find out. Oh, now this is nice. This is what I want. This is much bigger. Young Avengers, number 9. Got the big old white pages on there. It doesn't have anything on here, but isn't this one of the, I always thought this was white. Of those first 12 issues of this, the 12 issues of this, wasn't number 9 like the second most valuable past after number 1? I want to say so, but it definitely doesn't list anything up there. And want to say it has something to do with Kate Bishop. Maybe is she named Hawkeye in this one? Is there something like that? Guys, if you're watching the video and you know, just leave me a comment. Let me know. I mean, I'm not sure what it is at this point. Of course, it's also, well, I filmed the first video at 3 in the morning when I got home. Now it's 45 minutes later or so. Well, even later. It's already past 4 in the morning, so it's going to be tough going back to work tomorrow. Young Avengers. Right now a 9, even a 9 issue 9. I've got a 9.6 would have been $150 value. That right there is a real nice book to get a 9.8 on, and I'm happy about that. I've been doing pretty good with the Young Avengers on these. I've gotten issue 6 and issue 1 and 12. I think already is 9.8s. It's not really a goal. I'm not trying to get all of those graded at this time, but all right. Oh, this is nice. Now this is the second copy I've got of this. This is $4.89. Batman $4.89. You've got Azrael. Yeah, I think isn't this the first issue of Batman where Azrael takes on the mantle of Batman? That's what this is, right? I think that's what that is. Again, it doesn't really say that up there, but 49 as a 9.6, it would have been a $100 value. We'll find out again what the value is on this. Now, I didn't put all these books in a 9.6 pre-screen because I thought they were going to be 9.6s. I did it because there was value at a 9.6, and I was a little worried on some of these that they might have dropped down in grade. So it worked out fine. Well, fine on some of those. All right, now here's the book that I had sent out previously in a 9.8 pre-screen. I hadn't worked on it. I thought it was super good. My eyes on the books have gotten a lot better, but this one had just, I can see a spine tick right there, but this is Suicide Squad, the New 52, issue number 1, and I got a 9.6 on that. And this is a perfect example of one of those where I went back and worked on it some more, but it still retained some of those issues that it had, some of the defects, and perfect one to have in an order like this. There's value at a 9.6, and let's see if I can actually find it on here. Suicide Squad. Yeah, the 9.6 I've got it basically as a $100 value. It would have been real nice to get this as a 9.8. I know that's a real popular issue to get like that. That's a killer cover of Harley Quinn there on the cover. Oh, now this is nice. This is nice. I don't know if I know I've got 9.6s on this, and I think I sold it too. But this was in one of my other original copies to Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, issue number 4, one of my favorite miniseries of all time. And my screen is going to sleep again. There we go. And I sent in my original order from more than a year ago, my very first CGC order. I think I had all 4 issues of this miniseries, and I got them all back, and they were all 9.6s, and I was super stoked about that. And I knew no work on them, nothing. And if you know anything about these books, it's got that solid back cover, and if you open these books at all, you're going to create a crease in the cover right there, and on the front too. So I ended up, I'm just checking to make sure that they didn't come out that as a second print, because I definitely was pretty sure it wasn't. And plus these backs have got this cardstock, and boy, they can scratch up real easy. And I had some clean copies. I was trying to bag and board all these books. They were right off the newsstand too. And I guess in a lot of cases, they put them in the bag and board, and I think over the years, 35 years of moving, those boxes, you shift just a little bit and you get a little bit of rub. And boy, it just picks it up. But I still had some really clean copies, and so I got a 9.8 on that one. This is issue number 4, and in one of the orders in between this and the very first one, I sent out another with number 1 in it. I got a 9.8 on it, and man, that price, I think that price is, up there into that 4-figure. I don't want to say it was $1,500 to $1,900 for number one as a 9.8. So, but it's going to be a book that I want in my collection. So it's going to stay there as an investment and something I just love, just like this, because a goal now is to get all four of these as a 9.8 to have in the PC. I want to say I sold the 9.6s on all of them except for issue 1. Why they didn't, I think the one seller, he literally bought 2, 3, and 4, but he didn't buy 1. I guess he didn't need it, but anyway, that's sweet. Oh, look at that. Haha. Look at that. So I had 2 in this order, and man, that's really good. And I had multiples. I knew at the time this was so special of a book. I was in college. This would have been, it was 1986, but it was the spring or so of 96. So I still would have been in my first year in college, and I've got some help here. Lucky is decided to come up here and make sure the slabs don't fall over. I was second semester in college that fall or spring, and getting these books and going over to the local mall, going to Walden Books, and literally buying these right off the newsstand. And I was picking up, I should have just bought everything, but at the time, $2.95. I mean, that was a big price to buy on these. So I was trying to pick up good copies, but I still it wasn't perfect, but I definitely got some really good copies out of this. And I didn't do any work to this. This is great. So I got 2 9/8s on that. Wow. Well, that's definitely one that is going to be available. Oh, now this is nice. This is nice. I finally got a book back that I'd sent out. It was a Prescreen 9.8, just like that Suicide Squad. This is Marvel .1. This is the 2012. This is the first appearance of Sam Alexander Nova. And a book I didn't even know I had in my collection until I kind of got right into this hobby again a year ago. I've been collecting comics all along, but I wasn't really active. I wasn't speculating. I was buying my big giant batch every month of brand new books. Occasionally I'd pick up a back issue at the LCS, but I wasn't really active. And I guess COVID and watching the market explode got me back into this. And I have books that I didn't even know I picked up, and that were just super, super key books and valuable. This is one of those. And I didn't even know I had it. I don't think I've got the one with Miss Marvel from the next year or the 2 years later. I'm not even sure. But I had this one. Had some issues over here. I worked on it. Sent it out. Or did I? Yeah, I can't remember now. But I sent it out. It was a Prescreen 9.8. It didn't meet it. It was a failure. It came back. And I definitely worked on it a second time. And there we go. We got a 9.8 on that. That is awesome. Got a 9.8 on that. Marvel .1. Where is it here? You can tell it's 4 in the morning. I can't even see it on. Oh, there it is. So literally a 9.6 would have been $180. I'm hoping that the market hasn't dropped so much on that. Oh, no, this is nice. And I think I've got this is one of 2 copies I've got in here. And if I remember, one of these was from Whatnot, and it definitely had some damage. And I wasn't too happy about it. And I was like, man, I wanted this as the 9.8 candidate, but it just wasn't going to get there. But as I said, I ended up buying another one and put both of them in the same order. So we'll see if the other one didn't make the grade as a 9.6, or I still have a few books left. But this is Justice League number 31, the first full appearance of Jessica Cruz. And I had dropped a lot of these titles. Justice League before this, I think, is this new? Yeah, the new 52. I'd kind of gotten tired of these reboots that DC was in at the time, and I had a few of these new 52s, but then I just kind of dropped it. I didn't even have this issue. had some of the earlier Justice Leagues from this run, but 9.8 on that. So that is awesome. Justice League. Yeah, I've got 2 in this order. A 9.6 would have been $150. We'll have to find out what a 9.8 is now. It's a good problem to have. Oh, this is nice. And I wasn't sure this one was going to make the grade either. I bought it, paid $20 for it at the time. It was the first comic of the first issue of Once and Future, #1 there. And I bought this strictly because I know this was a pretty popular book, especially #1 to get graded. I think it's been optioned, but 9.8 on that. And I put it in a 9.6 pre-screen because, as I said, there was a little bit of damage. I picked this up from one of my other LCSs, Cards, Comics, and Collectibles, and thought I picked up a really good copy, and it's like, working on it, I'm like, I don't know if it's going to quite be there. Put it in a 9.6. There was still enough value to do that. 9.6 and something like that would have been, $100. But I'm hoping that this will be a lot more for a 9.8. That's awesome. All right, 2 more books before we get into the raws. This one makes me happy. Only because, well, I've already gotten it before, but I love this. It's my favorite X-Men book. And we're talking about X-Men 256. Jim Lee artwork, Chris Claremont stories. You've got the return of Psylocke as the Lady Mandarin. She's brainwashed basically, but you've got this beautiful, Psylocke was always just this beautiful character by the way Jim Lee would always draw her, and just absolutely, I love this story. I love the artwork, and you love the character. We're weird fanboys like that. So this is the second one of this that I've got is a 9.8. So I am super happy. I love this. I didn't think this one was going to meet a 9.8. I know I did a pretty good job on it, but this is from 1989. So you start getting these older books. It's newsprint covers. They take wear. It's an older book. It's longer to be out there in the wild having damage. But as a 9.6 would have been about 125. The value on these has definitely dropped a little bit. So we'll find out again what the 9.8 is on that. And I got 2 of them in this order, but I can already tell one of the 2 did not meet the 9.6. And that's a perfect example. We'll pull it out in the raws, but that's a perfect example of why I put these into a 9.6. As I said, 9.6 was 125. I think the market's dropped a little bit. And if it's below a 9.6 now on that book, you're probably talking sub $100 value, plus how much money do you put in for the book itself, and then for the fees to, if you want to sell it. I mean, there's not a lot of margin at that point. But anyway, I got a 9.6 on this. All right. This is Crisis number 8, The Death of Barry Allen, The Flash. And I think I had three copies in this. So the other 2 did not meet the grade. We'll take a quick look and see if we see anything, but I got a 9.6 on that. I gotta tell you, I'm actually disappointed on that, only because I've been trying to get this issue, the issue before with The Death of Supergirl, and issue #1. I'm trying to get 9.8s on all 3 of those. I think I'm 2/3 of the way through. I think I have to go back and check. I've gotten this back before. This was definitely not one of my favorite books. I mean, look at where the cover wrap is around on this. I mean, oops, sorry about that. I got that right in the light. But you can see that white line going up and down right there? That is the back cover coming around. There's nothing, it's not any kind of roll. The staples are in the right place and everything. It's just where the cover was wrapped around, and you see that right there. You really shouldn't. At least it's straight, and that's a thing. I've gotten some of these books that have that, and it'll be a little cockeyed and looks awful. So this still presents well. But 9.6, that's a little disappointing. I've got that as basically $100 value. So let's put that over there. That is the last book that I got that got graded. So what do we get out of this? This is a 9.6 pre-screen for 15. That's That's not great, but I'm going to tell you right now, of those that I've got in here, 15 books, only 4 of them actually hit that 9.6. The rest of them hit 9.8s, and that is super right there. There's a couple of them will be in the PC, but most of these will be for sale. I do orders like this, so I can resell some of them and make a little bit of money, then reinvest it into the comics again. It just keeps feeding the hobby. So someday I might get ahead. I don't know. I have to curb my my spending habits on heritage auctions, I think. All right, let's open up the rolls and we'll see what did not make the grade. Now, again, just like in the last video, which was a 9.8 pre-screen, the same deal goes for this. I'll take a look over the books. I'll see if it's a defect that it's something I can improve. I'll take that time again, and we'll clean and press the book again. And then the other part of that is going back and take a look at the values of the books to make sure that it will make sense to actually get them graded again at that same pre-screen. Maybe it won't be worth it. Maybe the market's gone so soft that even a 9.6 on some of these books, it's not worth going and putting the money back in at this time, unless you can think you can get it up to a 9.8. I mean, these are the kind of decisions you've got to make. All right, so I was right. The other copy of Justice League 31 did not make it. I'm pretty sure that's the one from Whatnot that had the issue. Oh, this is a little disappointing, but it's a little bit of a reach. This is Wolverine number 4 from the miniseries. I'm going to go back on that. The prices on those have really gotten soft, so I think that was one of those that I kind of was pushing a little bit to try to get that 9.6, but that is what it is. All right, so we did have the second copy of Man of Steel. I want to say that probably is the one that had obviously had the more severe issues on it. We had a copy of X-Men 225, and I don't remember what the significance was. This was not this is a book you really should get a 9.8 on. But I know it had some issues over there. Even at a 9.6, I probably had that X-Men as a $100 value. Yeah, I had that as a $100 value. Anything below that, it wasn't going to be worth getting graded. That's why I protected myself with the 9.8 and kind of was over my skis on this one. I definitely, because there's some spine ticks on there. I thought it would still meet that 9.6. Not a lot of spine ticks, but minor. This is disappointing. Ugh. Yeah, I'm looking at disappointment in my hand here. Alpha Flight number 1. I thought this was a pretty clean copy, at least the 9.6 candidate. Same goes for Spider-Man number 1, 2099 number 1. Weapon X number 84, the last of the Barry Windsor Smith origin story for Wolverine. A second copy of, whoops, sorry about that, X-Men 256. And then the 2 copies of Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 8. So anyway, guys, that is it. That's the end of the video. Got 15 out of 25, so 10 of these didn't make the grade. We'll take a look at these books. We will go over them again. Maybe, I guess there's enough value in some of these, probably even at 9.4s, but I don't want them at 9.4s. I want to make sure they get up. I'll put the work in. We'll see if we can get these up again. And I'm getting to the point where I'm probably going to end up doing a complete order of books that were rejects and see what we can do with them. I'm curious that with that little extra time going back on them, will that benefit them or not? We'll take a look. We'll let you know. We'll do another video. So anyway, guys, that is it. Thank you for watching this second video here. I'm sorry that it is not as, I didn't put it out as timely as I should have. But again, I've got a whole bunch of other videos with other CGC unboxings and some other special shows that I've put out that I wanted to get out there. They're already in the can, they're in the queue, ready to go. And here's this one, and so this is the latest video. So anyway, guys, you take care, and thanks for everything, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.